Tamale orders are being taken in the bookstore. Abby's taking tamale orders in the bookstore. Abby's taking tamale orders in the bookstore. After service. Hey, hon, how you doing? Oh, thank you. There's another one. Here it is. I don't have my phone.
That's a good thing. It's nice to have some time.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I invite everyone here in the sanctuary and watching us on social media to make yourself comfortable. Whether you're on your beautiful comfy couch or maybe still in bed, let us all prepare for this loving moment of silence. I invite you to either close or lower your eyes as we go deep within into feeling the very essence of our being, immersing our consciousness beyond time and space. Again, focusing on our breath, becoming still, and knowing and trusting this one power backing up all that there is. Breathing in and breathing out. Do it one more time. Breathing in and breathing out. Clearing our minds, listening, opening, and feeling every heartbeat, every sight, every sound. Deep calls to deep. Is it true I was created in you? Is it also that you were created for me? I owned your voice. It was shaped and tuned to suit me. Your arms were molded into a cradle to hold me, to rock me. The scent of your body was the air, perfume for me to breathe. Mom, during those early dearest days, I did not dream that you had a large life which included me, or I had a life which was only you. Time passed steadily and drew us apart. I was unwilling. I feared if I let you go, you would leave me eternally. You smiled at my fears, saying I could not stay in your lap forever. That one day you would have to stand, and where would I be? I did not. Without warning, you left me, but you returned immediately. You left again and returned. I admit quickly, but relief did not rest with me easily. You left again but again returned. You left again, but again returned. Each time you re-entered my world, you brought assurance. Slowly I gained confidence. You thought you knew me, but I did hold you secretly in my sight, recording every moment, memorizing your smiles, tracing your frowns. In your absence, I rehearsed you, the way you had singing on a breeze, while I soft lay at the root of your song. The way you paused your head so that the light would caress your face. When you put your fingers on my hand and your hand on my arm, I was struck with a sense of health, of strength, and very good fortune. You were always the heart of happiness to me, bringing nuggets of glee, sweets of open laughter. During the years when you know nothing, I knew everything. I loved you still, condescendingly, of course. From high perch of teenage wisdom, I grew older and was stunned to find how much knowledge you had gleaned, and so quickly. Mom, I have learned enough to know I have learned nearly nothing. On this day when mothers are being honored, let me thank you that my selfishness, ignorance, and mockery did not bring you to discard me like a broken doll, which had lost its favor. I thank you that you still find something in me to cherish, to admire, to love. I thank you. Oh, by the way, Mom, have I told you how amazingly beautiful you are? When the breeze inflates your two robes of silk, you look like a goddess enveloped in clouds. When you pass, the flowers of the mulberry tree drink in your perfume. When you carry the lilacs that you have gathered, they tremble with joy. Bands of gold encircle your ankles, stones of blue gleam in your girdle. A bird of jade has made its nest in your hair. The roses of your cheeks mirror themselves in the great pearls of your collar. When you look at me, I see the pink river you went flowing. When you speak to me, I hear the music of the wind among the pines of our own country. When a horseman meets you at dusk, he thinks it's already dawn, and brutally, he brings his horse to a standstill. And I don't know why, Mom, when a beggar beholds you, he forgets his hunger. I love you, Mom. I invite everyone to come back to the room. As we take this moment, slowly open your eyes and feel the breath in this space. Happy Mother's Day.
Good morning, everybody. Time to wipe those tears away. Wow, Elga, it's incredibly moving. It's beautiful. I know your mom was special because I know you're incredible, so she did a great job. Happy Mother's Day. All that and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. You know that you are. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. Yes. I hold you in my heart always. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are my family. You are the face of God. Yes.
I invite everyone again to lower your eyes and just be still as I speak in the first person. With a heart full of gratitude, I use this thought of peace, love, joy, abundance, health, with the full realization of a perfect presence right here, right now. I recognize this infinite presence that I am calling Heavenly Father, Cosmic Mother, Mother, Father, God, for all, to each and everyone. I am knowing that in this very presence, I am guided, I'm always guarded, I'm always supported, that I am in the perfect spot where God is. In this sacred ground that I stand, I know that the infinite is flowing in, through, around me. It's in my vein, it's in my organ, it is in my circulation, it's in everything, it's in every bone. It's my DNA. So knowing the truth, knowing that each of one of us is supported, guided, and protected, there's nothing to fear. No doubt, nothing to change, because I know we just keep believing, knowing that this is the truth. So I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for all the mothers. I'm grateful for my own mom. I'm grateful for the ancestors who paved and make straight the way before me. I'm grateful for our center, for the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living, for supporting and continuing this service and commitment to the community through our own teaching of love. I'm grateful to our ministers, Reverend Stacy, Reverend Cheryl Bell, for unconditional love and support all through this time. Priceless, timeless. I'm grateful to Reverend Anna for today for the blessing that you have given to this center. It's my honor and privilege to be blessed with your beauty, with your grace, and your wisdom. I'm grateful to our music, Patty and Dave. Oh my God, thank you so much for all the love and the energy you bring into the service. Thank you to our volunteers, to Yvonne, to Charlie, to Kaden, to Julius, and to all our volunteers. Thank you for all the congregation for supporting us throughout this time and just being here. You all look so beautiful. Thank you so much. So I am releasing every word to the law that's always saying yes, knowing this prayer is already done and it's in coming into fruition as I speak. I am complete and fully fulfilled. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is. That's what I say. Woo. Aldo, you are incredible. Thank you, Aldo, for all that you do and all that you are. And please sing along. You know, we've done this forever, so, and I know you know it. Even the way I sing it, I know you know it. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. Well, I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Yes, but now I can see that if you are worried, struggling just to make it through another day, well, you got to let it go, let it all go, yes. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Woo! No more struggle, no more
And she's here for you all too. Don't
Yes,
worry.
I am.
If it's comfortable for you, please say with me. God bless America and the rest of the world. And give yourselves a hug. And those of you whose mothers has moved to the next plane, please just know that she's hugging you right back. Mm-hmm. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. If I had $1 for every time Reverend Stacy has asked me this morning if I'm okay.
That's sweet. That's beautiful, right?
As some of you know, my mother made her transition 5 years ago in January. Unexpectedly, suddenly, was not, I'm sure she had it planned, but I didn't know about it. But anyway, I'm just so grateful that you're here. If you didn't know already, I'm Reverend Cheryl Bell, co-senior minister here along with my sister, Reverend Stacy Hilton. I hope you all got your orange rosebuds. That's Stacy's favorite color. I put in a bunch of yellow just to break it up a little bit. So she said, red just doesn't seem, pink. I said, well, okay, whatever. So it was her turn to pick.
It all works.
And it all works out. Isn't that perfect? I'm so glad that you're here with us this morning. And I know it is morning in Manila also, right? Miss Jenny is probably watching. And happy Mother's Day to her and anyone else around the world. I know that it's evening other places, but that's okay. Just thanks for joining us, those here in the seats and those on their cozy couches, in their bed, on the porch outside, on the little, I can't even tell you some of the things people tell me where they are when they're listening or watching, and I love that we're able to bring that to them no matter where they are. And I'm glad that you are here because no matter where you are on your spiritual path, I'll always welcome you, and everybody in this room will welcome you, especially the Charlie and Yvonne with the camera there.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for being here. Again, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Rev. Our beautiful Reverend Cheryl, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So Mother's Day, right?
Yeah.
Comes around every year. Every year we feel that thing, but then, if we don't have our mom here, like you said, if they're on another plane, but you know what? There are plenty of beautiful mom figures that we have in our life. And so many of them, all of them are here, actually. This is a special song, and I'd love to sing this for you, Reverend Anna.
God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. Hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I know one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out, I hope you dance. I hope you dance.
I know you do.
I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances that will take you. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some hell-bound heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. When you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I know one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. When you get the choice to send it out or dance. Dance! I know it's dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I know you dance. I know you'll dance. I know
I know she's going to be dancing all the way. Thank you so much.
No more crying, no more crying.
Not crying.
Okay, good.
No crying in ministry. Whew. Say that again, Stacy. Believe it this time. There's no crying in ministry. We have a video that we'd like to show. We are honoring our beloved Reverend Anna today with a talk title that is like nothing else that I could have picked. If I would have picked it myself, I wouldn't have picked a better talk title, Revolutionary Love. Watch the video that Julius has put together.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Reverend Anna Kendall, and I'm here out of love.
Unforgettable, that's what you are.
unforgettable, though near or far.
Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me never before has someone been more
Unforgettable in every way,
and forevermore.
and forevermore.
That's how you'll stay.
That's how you'll stay.
That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so
unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. someone been more? Unforgettable in every way. And forevermore. That's how you'll stay.
That's how you stay.
Someone been more? Ooh, unforgettable in every way. And forevermore. That's how you'll stay.
That's how you stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible
that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Yes, let's stand up.
Good job, Julius.
Woo! Great job, Julius. Great job, Aldo. Your centering and your prayer, and Patty and Dave, and whoo! There's no crying in ministry. Reverend Mama didn't teach me that. I missed that lesson. Yeah. The Tao Te Ching says this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. It goes on to say, when the student is fully ready, the teacher will disappear. Now, I don't know that I'm fully ready, and she's not disappearing. She's just moving to Savannah, Georgia. So that's the good news out of that. But I remember all so clearly that day that I stood at the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living on Alexander, and I was the greeter at the time, and this beautiful, beautiful, impeccably dressed woman came in and gave me a hug. That woman, Reverend Anna, would be my teacher, and I had no idea that she would be my teacher. But I just remember her walking in there with such grace and such presence and such joy about love. And then I heard her speak and I heard her pray. And then I realized my second year of classes, along with Lauren and Reverend Cheryl and Dan and some other of you, a cast of characters, Marcia and Craig. It was a cast of characters, and I thank you, Reverend Anna, for taking that on. Because when you should have run, many would have run, but you didn't. You didn't. And you showed us what love looks like. You gave us that mental equivalent about that person that is going to be there unconditionally to support this center. You were one that made this spiritual house a spiritual home for me. I thank you with all of my heart. You modeled that what a minister that looks like me, how they show up. Yeah. Not quite ready for her to disappear to Georgia, but it's okay. We'll still see her. Slide 1, please. The spiral of life is upward. Evolution carries us forward, not backwards. Eternal and progressive expansion is its law, and there are no breaks on its continuity. It seems to me that our evolution is the result of unfolding consciousness of that which already is and needs, but to be realized, to become fact in everyday life. How does love look like every day in each of our lives? How does it look? I know how it looks for Reverend Anna, how she takes care of her beloved, how she's taking care of this community, how she's taking care of her Goddess Center, Sophia Center. That mental equivalent I always have, whether she's here or in Georgia. That idea of what would Reverend Anna do? Smile and give you a hug. And a kick in the behind too sometimes, if you didn't know. Might not hurt as much with a smile and a hug, but it's still kicking the behind. I recognize it. And I've had my many. I've had many. So we are evolving as a community. We're evolving and we're remembering, we're called to remember that love and presence and wisdom and grace that Reverend Anna is. Because that will always move us forward to that next best thing for us. Slide number 2, please. Howard Thurman said this: "A strange necessity has been laid upon me to devote my life to the central concern that transcends the walls that divide and would achieve in literal fact what is experienced as literal truth. Human life is one, and all," Reverend Anna would say, human, are members of one another. And this insight is spiritual, and it is at the hard core of the religious experience. There's just the one thing going on. And if we allow it, remember I talked about fear and love, if we allow it to just be love, then it can be just be love. If we let the fear drop to the nothingness from which it came, and we just show up in love, just show up and say, use me. How would Spirit use me if I show up as love? Because that's the model that I received from Reverend Anna. Anybody else? There's quite a few of us out there. Look at all of those lives that were touched by one soul. And so we don't know what to do. We don't know what we're called to do. Just if you do that, how many lives could you touch? How many lives could I touch? That's all that's required. And I say that as though it's an easy thing in a world that does not quite believe in that necessarily. But we can do it. We are doing it. That's why we show up here. That's why we take classes, so that we can remember to do it when it gets hard. My focus this morning is about Reverend Anna's appearance here as the idea of revolutionary love. Again, her foundation from which she walked into that center, this center, across the way many moons ago, it was just her showing up in her love. I'm one that benefited, as many of us are. Who would know that she would be one of my greatest teachers? The power of commitment, Reverend Anna taught me. The power of dedication. The power of using the teaching to live the life that you want to live. The power of showing up, even when you don't want to. I learned that love can heal and transform lives. That's why I'm here today, which is one of the very reasons for that. I learned about the Bible and its wisdom through Reverend Anna. I learned about the importance of showing up. And yet another teacher for me that love is in the details. Must be a hard one for me to get because I keep that, it's a reoccurrence in my life. I learned how to be a professional practitioner, how to be a spiritual leader. Learned about the power of retreat and coming together, how to sit on a board and run a church. You modeled how to show up for people as a minister and as your authentic self and still have fun with it. That's a big deal. I saw who I want to be as a minister, who I wanted to be as a minister, and who I didn't necessarily want to be. I learned about the power of my words. Anybody ever say hate around Reverend Anna? Bet you didn't do it again. I learned how I referred to God back in the old days as He. And God is not a he or a she. It's limiting what God is if I say it is a he. And she'd circle my treatments every week and I'd stuff them in my, whatever I was carrying. I'm not looking at that. I learned how disempowering the word he really is when referring to God. I was reminded of the power of women and their friendships. I watched she and Reverend Cynthia build this church and did a fantastic job. Fantastic job. I learned that love can be taught, modeled, and practiced. And when done so, it can truly create a world that works for all. Next slide. All that you can touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. Thank you, Reverend Anna, for all that you've changed for me and all of us. Oh, yeah, we have a video.
So anytime anyone ever said that love was the answer, I would always roll my eyes. Like, I'm a lawyer, I care about strategy. The problem is not with love, but the way that we talk about love. That love is more than a rush of feeling. We tend to talk about love as something that happens to us. We fall in love. But if we think about love just as emotion, then of course love is too fickle, too sentimental, too anemic to be a force for justice in the world. Then we think about our strongest relationships in life, between parents and students, between children and their grown-ups, their caretakers, between educators and their young people in the classroom. These relationships are defined by sustained and practical care. And so I began to redefine love, not as a rush of feeling, but as a form of sweet labor. Fierce, bloody, imperfect, life-giving, a choice that we make over and over again. And if love is sweet labor, then love can be taught, love can be modeled, and love can be practiced. And it's not just any one feeling, right? It's all of the emotions. So joy is the gift of love. Grief is the price of love. Anger is the force that protects that which is loved. And when we think we have reached our limits, then wonder is the act that returns us to love. What I call revolutionary love is the choice to enter into labor for others who do not look like us, for our opponents, people who hurt us, and for ourselves. So how do we love others? I call this practice see no stranger. We know that all of our wisdom traditions teach us that we are interdependent and interconnected, that it is possible to look upon the face of anyone around us and say in our minds, "You are a part of me that I do not yet know." And yet brain imaging studies show us that our minds divide the world into us and them in an instant. And who we see as one of us determines who we feel empathy for, or who we feel compassion for, who we stand up for in the streets or at the polls, who we advocate for in the classroom. And so what might it mean to train our minds, train our eyes to see no stranger? It is the ability to look upon the face of anyone and think, sister, brother, sibling, we are part of one another. We belong to one another. I will draw close to your story. I will let your story change me. I will let your grief into my heart. I will fight for you when you are in harm's way. And so wondering and grieving and fighting is how we practice seeing no stranger. This brings me to the second practice. Like, how do we fight even our opponents with love? So the second practice is called tend the wound. It is very tempting to think about our opponents as evil, but I have come to believe that there is no such thing as monsters in this world, only people who are wounded, people whose insecurity or pain or blindness or greed make them able to be complicit in systems of oppression that cause them to pull the trigger or cast the vote or pass the policy aimed at us. But if we listen to even their stories, beneath the slogans and beneath the sound bites, we begin to hear their pain and understand that they too are wounded. Our wounds are not morally equivalent. But once we begin to see the suffering, even our opponents, we can listen to their stories. We gather information for how to change the cultures and the institutions of power that allow them to hurt us. See, loving our opponents is not just moral, it is pragmatic, it is strategic, it is how we engage in institutional change. And I believe that we can teach our young people how to tend to the wounds in people who they see as enemies or who they see as opponents. Seeing their humanity is how we practice loving them and how we start to reimagine the world in such a way that liberates our opponents too. But I have to remind you that everybody has a different role in the fight. If you are directly in harm's way right now, as so many people of color are, our job is to tend to our own wounds first and let others do that labor of reaching out to our opponents. That's why we're a community, that's why we're a movement. And this brings me to the third practice. How to love ourselves. I call this breathe and push. So our social justice leaders, from Gandhi to King to Mandela, they taught us a lot about how to love others and love our opponents. They didn't teach us too much about how to love ourselves. This is a feminist intervention. Audre Lorde, this is Bell Hooks. These are women who have taught us that loving ourselves is not a form of indulgence, but a form of political warfare. For too long have women, and specifically women of color, been taught to suppress their rage and grief in the name of love and forgiveness. But we cannot let the movement happen on our backs or over our dead bodies. We need to be able to pour into ourselves the kind of love that we pour out into the world. And so that's why I'm so drawn by the wisdom of the midwife. In all of our labors, the labor of raising a family or teaching students in a classroom or making a movement or rebirthing a nation, in all of our labors, we need to be breathing in order to be pushing. And the midwife doesn't say breathe once and push the rest of the way, right? She says breathe and push and breathe again. So how can we teach ourselves and teach our children how to integrate breathing into their lives so that they're caring for themselves even as they care for others? You see, I believe we need all three forms, all three practices of love for love to be revolutionary. For loving just ourselves is a form of escapism, and loving just our opponents is a form of self-loathing, and loving just others is ineffective. That's where so many of us are right now. We need to be creating communities of care so that we're pouring that care into ourselves. And at the same time, we cannot become what we are fighting. We cannot become the ones we are resisting. How do we fight even our most serious opponents with the ethic of love? We need to be modeling a new way. And this is why I believe that revolutionary love is the call of our times.
Revolutionary love. Wow.
continue. We continue. Again, I'm Cheryl Bell. Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there, those that have given birth and those that have not. You're all important, and you've all made a difference. All of you. The aunties, the stepmothers, I can't even imagine. No, I heard somebody. Well, thank you for that video, Reverend Stacy. I didn't even know that there was a book called Revolutionary Love. I should have known, because it reminds me of one of the talks done by our beloved Reverend Sunshine Day. Yeah, she used to come here once a year. She was here last year, but via video. And one of her talks, she said, the reason she, and I want to send that to everybody who thinks they know her, actually. The reason she says beloved to everyone she sees, even if she just says it silently to herself, is to remind herself that they are her beloved, no matter who they are. So there are some folks that I believe, until she actually said that, had that talk, believed that it was superficial or it was just something she said. She has a reason for saying it. And I love that she told us that story. I love that. It reminded me, that video reminded me of her. It reminded me that hurt people hurt people. It reminded me that, she said, when someone says that love is the answer, it just makes her cringe, because we have to work. There's some work to be done as well. But I think it is the answer, no matter what the question is. Right? It just reminded me that love is still absolutely the answer. The lie that is going around is that there is not enough of anything. There's not enough good to go around. There's not enough money. There's not enough vaccine. There's not enough whatever. It's not enough. It's a lie. The truth is that there is more than enough. More than enough. We are certainly being reminded of that in this past year. The creative ideas that have come out of this health crisis, the love and the reminders, all the reminders, for goodness sakes, of what's important to each and every one of us. Because the lie is the lies, that there is not enough. That is not the truth. And that's why we are here. Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living, Cheryl Bell, Stacey Hilton, Reverend Onda Kendall. Not only to show up as love, but to prove that to each and every person that we lay eyes on. Dare I say that there's more than enough love, that there's more than enough joy. My little tagline that I've adopted in the last couple of years is choose joy. I don't think there's anyone in this room that's gotten a card from me that didn't see that. Because it is a choice. It is all a choice. Stacey and I choose to be here every Sunday. We choose to be here 4 or 5 days a week and keeping this place going. And just seeing and knowing that all is well because we showed up in love, as love, knowing that love lives here, where we come. And if you can see it, you can act from it. And we see it. We feel it. I just promise you, and I hope you believe me, that love is the answer to whatever the question is. I love that the lovely lady has 3 steps. There's lots of steps. Just as we say there are many paths to that one power, that one presence that Reverend Anna taught us to not call he. Because it's limiting. I love that Daisy calls it all. All. In my language, that's 3 letters that are pretty descriptive. All. Thank you, Daisy. Again, some of you know that my mother made her transition 5 years ago, not with my permission, but she didn't really need it. You know, I always talk about my spiritual mother, Reverend Cynthia Claire, who made her transition that same year, 2016. But then there's the story of Reverend Anna, my other spiritual mother. That I don't know. Do you know that teacher? I know you all had a teacher that was really strict, but you loved them anyway. That's my Reverend Anna. Because it didn't matter what you were in trouble for, or what you did that may not have been something she wanted you to do. You knew you were loved. No doubt, you may have been crying later, but you knew you were loved. Like Stacy said, when we saw the talk title, and it was Mother's Day, and then Reverend Anna told us she was going to be here on Mother's Day, we knew revolutionary love was showing up again. You know, I have thanked Reverend Anna. I don't know that I would be standing here, even though Stacy drugged me to ministerial. No, she didn't. I know, yes, she did. Reverend Anna said, you didn't, but Reverend Anna, you know, she knows what we're talking about. It doesn't matter. But because, dare I tell that story? You know, I don't know that I would even be working or running or whatever I'm doing a church. I was a volunteer, for God's sake. I wasn't working. I was on unemployment, and I came to the office twice a week for 2 hours each time to just do whatever is needed to be done. Then one day I got a call, Dr. Tom, it was Valentine's Day, 2010. He came and picked me up. He had fixed me lunch because the person, whoever was working in the office had a health thing, they had to leave. And I'm thinking I'm just going to help out until they find somebody. I promise you, that's what I thought. He showed me how to do things on QuickBooks. He showed me the little, things to do for the day. We had our lunch. We talked. It was fun. It was a fun day. It was not work to me. So Wednesday came. This was Monday. I came back Tuesday by myself. Wednesday came, and Reverend Anna was in her office, and she wrote on a piece of paper, and she said, "Is this going to be okay if we pay you this per hour?" I'm like, "What? I work here?" I'm not even lying. I did not know that I was working here. Is this the truth, Mom? I'm like, is this how you all hire people? Apparently so. I'm like, this, and since then, Stacy and we don't always tell people, but people do call for prayer, especially when they're looking for a job or something, and I kind of sneakingly, hey, come volunteer in the office. I promise you. And they will be my witness. Stacy is my witness. They find a job in a week. Not because, I mean, they're there in service. I believe because they're telling the universe, yeah, I want to work. I don't always tell them that story before they come and volunteer. Yeah, come on Wednesday, yeah. Oh, you want to straighten up and do? Oh yeah, come the book. They have an interview and a job offer, I promise you, in a week. Has not failed in how long? It's never failed, ever. I love that. I love that. Stacy read the quote by Octavia Butler. All that you touch, you change. All that you change changes you. And the only lasting truth is change. We cannot escape change, people, but it's a good thing. That's where we learn, that's where our lesson is, in the change. And it's not a bad thing. It may not feel good, but it's not a bad thing, if I knew what a bad thing were. And to quote Miss Valerie there, I'm gonna have to get that book in the bookstore though. Love is a form of sweet labor. I loved how she said that. Fierce, bloody even, imperfect, and life-giving. A choice that we make over and over again. That's why I always say choose joy. If love is sweet labor, love can be taught, modeled, and practiced. This labor engages all our emotions, and joy is the gift of love. Grief is the price of love. I love that she said that. I love that she said that. You know, I laugh, and we were just laughing about it last Saturday when we had our gift. Was it last Saturday? Our gift fair. Reverend Anna was here, and for us to go to ministerial, we had to. Our senior minister at the time, Reverend Cynthia, the founder of the center, had to write a letter to Centers for Spiritual Living so that we would get accepted. Well, we had to do other things too to get accepted. But I know this letter says, sincerely, Reverend Cynthia Clare, founder and senior minister. I know Reverend Anna wrote this letter. She didn't tell me she wrote it, but I know she wrote it. Because who did I go to when I asked, who the heck is Radar? I wouldn't ask her because I thought it was an insult. It says, I'm just gonna read part of it, believe me. It says, extraordinary is hardly the word. And I'm not on a soapbox, I really don't, whatever. That defines this lady adequately. She is highly organized and well-liked by the congregation and its members. I'm hoping that's still true. And over the 8 years that I've known her, first as student, this was in 2014, as student, then employee, I have come to realize that, like Radar, from the movie MASH, which I had never seen MASH, she knows and does what is needed before being asked. Often she is the one to remind me and others of events and activities. And it came up because, Stacey always says that she's love and, am I love? But I think I'm love too. But anyway, because she'll think of something, oh, we should do this. Never hear from her again about it. But I'm working on it. And she's like, oh yeah, where are we with that? And I'm like, you said it, we were doing it, so what do you mean? Oh, that's my life here at Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living. Revolutionary love. I think there's one last slide, Caden. Is that it? Yes. Yeah? Yes. Loving only ourselves is escapism. Loving only our opponents is self-loathing. Loving only others is ineffective. All three practices together make love revolutionary. And revolutionary love can only be practiced in community. And I truly believe that's what we practice here in this community. And that makes me love all of you so much more. Thank you so much. I think Reverend Stacy has some more to share.
I do. I had a couple stories that some people wanted to share. And so, just really briefly, and I'll say who they're from, but I won't mention everybody in this story. Seems like yesterday that I was standing in the sanctuary on stage giving a presentation. I had just completed what they used to call Science of Mind 100 series. I was no stranger to religious science, but this time it felt different. Reverend Anna and Reverend Cynthia sat in the back, Reverend Cynthia leaning over with her chin in her hands, looking at each of us straight in the eyes, and Reverend Anna sitting there just watching, listening, and every now and again, as we gave our presentation, we would see a slight smile or nod. And so it began. After each series was completed, we gave our presentations, and Reverend Anna and Reverend Cynthia sat in the back watching, listening, a hint of a smile and a slight nod of the head. I think all of us could feel the love and support these women so freely gave to all of us. I don't think either of them knew what their presence meant to any of us. One by one, we gave our presentations. Reverend Cynthia's Sunday message, in fact, her mantra was always for us to recognize our own magnificence. Reverend Anna, in her own way, made sure that the message was received. My heart is filled with love, and I will always be grateful to Reverend Cynthia and Reverend Anna for seeing something in me that I could not at the time see within myself. That's for Juanita. And then Kathy said this. She showed up as the love I needed to learn. This is private, but I was in the center one day during the week, and Reverend Cynthia had called and was having a terrible time with her health, and she rounded up all the practitioners to go to her house for love, support, and prayers. That was powerful. The patience that she took, that she had with one person, that Reverend Anna had with one person, was amazing. This person wanted to yell and carry on and scream and be in judgment of this person, and Reverend Anna just rock steady, as Reverend Anna does. Also, when Sally, our beloved Sally, for those of you who remember Sally, was around, and she was having her own health challenges. And we didn't really know what was going on with Sally, so many of us were not sure what the heck was going on, and kind of some of us sat in judgment. Reverend Anna just loved her up. Reverend Anna just loved her up. So, with that, we again want to say thank you. We love you. And we have a little something for you. This is on behalf of the Ministry of Prayer Team. There's a card.
We'll catch up.
You have a card with it as well. I think with that, folks,
I think that's it.
I think we have an affirmation.
I think we have an affirmation, and I first want to say, too, that Reverend Anna not only taught us about love, she taught us about compassion.
Yes.
Yes.
Kanye.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
I do need to say something.
Oh, she wants to say something. Well, of course.
She is a minister for that.
She is a minister. Okay, well, let her say something. Do we have she's going to come up here. Please come up here. Hold the flowers for her. If you could come in the front there. I won't stand over you.
I couldn't leave without saying something. When you're talked about that much in such beautiful words and such beautiful emotions and expressions, just know that it has been my joy. My mother's last name is Joy. So the word joy has played a significant part in my life. And my sister and I have as our foundation her love. That's why if it flows from me, it's because of her. What these two didn't say is that they were my daughters. I adopted them as Dee Dee's darling daughters. And Lauren in the back, my daughter. And so many of you are my sisters, my friends, my colleagues. And I just want you to know that I have learned so much from you that will take me, and I will dance.
Okay.
Whoever left the Kleenex said thank you.
Radar did, I think.
Radar. Yeah, the insurance company told me.
Thank you, Rev.
Thank you, Reverends. You're incredible. What a beautiful dedication to such an incredible lady. And this song goes out really to all of you. By Stevie Wonder.
Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she precious? She's less than 1 minute old. I never thought through love we
this is our time. We consider, we call it giving and receiving. You look around. Yeah. And we're still not passing out around the basket for COVID rules. We're wearing masks. We're having fun still. And there's a basket in the back of the room. Thank you so much for those have. I think Barbara Howlett put out a challenge or request to take up our budget deficit from 2020. And a lot of you have lived up to that and have said yes to that. And it doesn't matter, it's all good. And if you take that challenge on, it doesn't matter. We love you anyway, because we're here on purpose with a purpose, and that is to create a world that works for all, and to know that any and everyone that walks through these doors is always welcomed here. If you would say our affirmation with us, please. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for all the good that shows up. I'm grateful for each and every person that supports and loves each other and the center as it allows us to support each one of them. And each and every person that, for whatever reason, believes that they have nothing to give. I'm telling you, it is a lie. Because the truth is you are an unlimited being and you are prosperous beyond belief. I'm here to tell you that. And so it is.
And so it is.
Coffee with the Revs is this Wednesday, as all Wednesdays, at 10:30 a.m., so just join on Zoom. And then our Healing Words Book Club is reading The Education of Little Tree by Forrest Carter, and we'll be meeting the last Wednesday of the month, which would be May 26th at 4 p.m. So let Reverend Stacy know if you'd like to join in with the book club. If you'd like prayer today, a 1-minute miracle, our practitioner, our precious practitioner, Kathy Vietti, is waiting for you. And you can either do it on Zoom or you can call her at 702-285-6632. And there's no charge for this, but certainly you're free to leave a love donation. And you can also text any gifts that you have to the center, just texting the letters LVCSL to 725-502-2505 and just follow the prompts. And for prayer support, just send your prayer request to prayer@LasVegasCSL or text 702-524-7096. We have our Heart of Peace meditation this coming Wednesday, and we will have our Reverend Harry Morgan Moses doing the opening meditation. And he came to see us it was either last year or the year before, and oh my gosh, talk about the most amazing man. If you can come here physically and be here at 6 o'clock to hear this, and hear Karen Jones with her bowls, I mean, it's okay to be on Zoom, there's no problem there too, but I mean, if you're here physically, the energy just gets totally different, lifts it up, and thanks to our practitioner Aldo, who's been doing this for many years now. So it's from 6 to 7 p.m. this coming Wednesday. Our annual LVCSL Tamale Drive is happening next week. Now you've got to place your orders by Wednesday, or you can also buy tickets today. You put your order in today with Abby at the bookstore. The tamales are either chicken with green sauce, or jalapeno and cheese, $2.50 each. And as I say, you must place your order by the 12th of May, this Wednesday. And the pickup date is next Sunday. And guess what, guys? You got to be here to pick them up. We're not doing deliveries this year, so you need to make sure you get here to pick up your tamales next Sunday. And also, remember, whenever you do any shopping, it's Amazon Smile when you shop on Amazon, because we get a little percentage for that. And the bookstore, as I say, is open today. So if you forgot to get your mom or your buddy or something, that's the place to do it right after service. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Happy Mother's Day to you. What a beautiful day.
Yes, 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 yes.
I know. Ah, happy Mother's Day. Thank you all for being here. I would like to ask our ministerial prayer team to please come forward so you can see their beautiful faces. If you would like prayer, please just ask one of them to pray with you or for you. We also have put back out our what we call God's Pocket. You can put a prayer request in. There are sanitized pens over there if you so choose. If you're here for the first time, please sign our guest book. There's more and more of them coming up to the front.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah. Any visiting practitioners or ministers, if you choose to please come forward, that's fine too. And if you don't choose to, that's fine too. I love you anyway. All right. I would like to ask our Reverend Stacy to please give us a closing prayer.
Yes, absolutely. So if you would just close or lower your eyes. I found this in a book that Reverend Anna gave me. So I'm going to read this as my closing prayer. The book is called I Promise Myself, Making a Commitment to Yourself and Your Dreams. And this was in there. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. Let me start off by saying that. Imagine a woman who believes it is right and good she is a woman who honors her experience and tells her stories, who refuses to carry the sins of others within her body and life. Imagine a woman who trusts and respects herself, a woman who listens to her needs and desires, who meets them with tenderness and grace. Imagine a woman who acknowledges the past influence on the present, a woman who has walked through her past, who has healed into the present. Imagine a woman who authors her own life, a woman who exerts, initiates, and moves on her own behalf, who refuses to surrender except to her truest self and wisest voice. Imagine a woman who names her own gods and goddesses, a woman who imagines the divine in her image and likeness, who designs a personal spirituality to inform her daily life. Imagine a woman in love with her own body, a woman who believes her body is enough, just as it is, who celebrates its rhythms and cycles as an exquisite resource. Imagine a woman who honors the body of the goddess in her changing body, a woman who celebrates the accumulation of her years and wisdom, who refuses to use her life energy disguising the changes in her body and life. Imagine a woman who values the women in her life, a woman who sits in circles of women, who is reminded of the truth about herself when she forgets. Imagine yourself as this woman. Thank you, Reverend Anna, for all the good that you've given to each of us here. You are always, always, always in our hearts and thought of with love. Now let's each go out and about our day Celebrating the love that each of us is, with the big hugs and the big smiles, even with masks on. Knowing that this is a beautiful, beautiful day to celebrate who each of us is. Celebrate the moms and the grandmas, anybody that nurtures or gives from a place of unconditional love. And so it is.
Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know this in my mind.
I know this in my mind.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
And so it is.
And so it is. Make a great week.
We're going to celebrate our mamas.
That's what we're going to do.
I love you guys.
I was feeling inside my bones. Cause of electric wavy wind all through my city, through my home. Lying high, no soothing liquor in my zone. Good sunshine in my pocket, good soul in my feet, the comfort in my pocket, and the drops. Can't take my eyes off it, moving so phenomenally. My heart will really rock it, don't stop. Under the lights when everything goes, where high when even you go. When we move, we already know. So just imagine, nothing I can see but you dance, dance, dance. Feel the creeping on you, dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, you dance, dance, dance. Ain't nobody leaving to dance. Just dance, dance, dance. Yeah! Just dance, dance, dance. Oh, there's something that you do. It's in the air, it's in my blood, touching all through my city. I lose control. Flying high, singing in my zone. Got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet, got that copper in my pocket when it drops. Can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. Feel my heart go beating, so stop. Under the lights when everything goes.
We have come into a time where change is inevitable. And as the world we live in changes around us, there is a place that nurtures you with compassion, love, and brings out your inner strength. At the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living, we work to create a world that works for everyone. By sharing both personal and spiritual tools, we can help you navigate through and create a life you love. If mindfulness, prosperity, abundance, and peace are on your list of what you're looking for, come join us and be part of something wonderful. Wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are always welcome here. Join us in person or as live stream on Facebook each Sunday. For more information, visit us at www.lasvegascsl.org.